What's going on, Washington fans? Welcome to the JTFB channel. I am Josh Taylor at Josh Taylor FB on social media, and I'm here to do a mock draft. I haven't done a mock draft in a while. I told you I was going to wait till after free agency and let some moves kind of happen, let the roster kind of fill out a little bit, and I don't think Washington is done yet. Y'all been blowing up the chat already. I was over here kind of just reading over everything before I went live. People already giving their takes on number 2. We've got JD5. We got May. We got Daniels. Bears are absolutely drafting Caleb Williams at 1. There's no chance that they don't. Kenny says, where's JT? I was just reading on X that someone tried saying that the Vikings are trading up to 2. Like, we're not giving up the 2 pick, guys. I'm sorry. Like, we need a quarterback. We're not going to sacrifice our team for the Vikings. That makes no sense at all. But we're going to jump into it. Look, you wouldn't mind JD. We need a comparison video, Josh. So I'm warming it up. I got the tapes. I've got some Jaden Daniels all 22. I got some Drake May all 22. I've watched both plenty, like pretty much since the season ended. I dove right into it. I've been watching both for a while now. But before we get like just diving into the mock draft simulator, I wanted to take a look for those who are still catching up on things. Just a real quick showing of what Washington has really done, and just like an overview of the roster real quick. Just showing y'all what the team actually looks like right now. So obviously we got Scary Terry at wide receiver. De'Ami Brown's the wide receiver opposite of Terry. I like our lad's website, by the way. It's super accurate. Of course, not everything's set in stone, but it's giving pretty much a prediction of what they think it's going to look like. But they have Jahan Dotson going to the slot, and I absolutely love that move. Like I said, I've been pushing for a while now that we need somebody opposite of Terry. I pretty much knew Curtis Samuel's going to go somewhere else. We need a legit wide receiver, too. Not saying that Jahan isn't, but I think Jahan Dotson can just absolutely feast in the slot. Like, it's not fair. He's going to be on skates out there. I can't wait to see what they do with him. And then, obviously, we need a left tackle. We have Nick Allegretti, who sounds like he could be left guard 1. It sounds like that was kind of like the tell-all of him coming here. Was that he said that he wants to go somewhere where he knows he's starting. So honestly, it sounds like he is, but at the same time, like, I'm also not ruling out getting a better left guard if the opportunity presents itself. Then Tyler Biadasz at starting center, so we don't really need one anymore. We got Ricky Stromberg as depth behind him, and then we could always like sign someone if emergency happens. And then, of course, Sam Cosmi, one of the best right guards in the NFL right now. Absolutely love Sam Cosmi. He's a blue chip guy, building the foundation of that offensive line. Right now is Andrew Wiley at right tackle. So we need a left tackle. We need a right tackle. And like I've kind of, had a couple scenarios that I'm going to go into with this mock draft of like what I think is going to happen. But then just kind of talking through things. Obviously, we got Zach Ertz at tight end. I think they get another tight end. Like I've said for a while now, Cole Turner and John Bates don't really move a needle for me. I really want to see what Cliff could do with Cole Turner because he's, very much so that receiving threat, kind of tight end. And obviously we need our quarterback at 2. So we're going to pick our quarterback at 2. Running back wise, I've really stayed away from drafting one now. After we got Austin Eckler, they have him as running back 1 and B-Rob 2. I don't think it really matters. I think B-Rob would be 1, and I think Eckler would technically be the running back 2. But once again, I don't think it matters. I'm just interested to see what their roles look like. And then on defense, this is where things are like kind of a giant question mark still. Dorrance Armstrong's obviously starting. They got Dante Fowler behind him, then Deron Payne, John Allen. Then they have Clelin Ferrell as the projected starter on the right side with KJ Henry behind him. So it's like, are they set with that? I think there's a couple moves that Washington did in free agency where it's like, hey, we do not have to draft this position. But, obviously if the opportunity presents itself and someone like unprecedented like falls to a spot where like, how was this person here? Then possibly. And I think edge is one of those positions that we're going to watch. And we're like, oh, it's so tempting to get this guy. But then you have like this talent, especially in the second round. But it in my opinion, it's just like, are they okay with those, that rotation of edge rushers? I think with like, Coach Witt and Coach Quinn, like with their defense, I think they would go into the season with that and be okay with it. Like I said, I'm super high on Dorrance Armstrong. Dante Fowler is one of these guys who rotates in, gets production. They bring back Efe Obada. Hopefully, he's good to go. By the time the season starts, like he gets a lot of production when he actually gets his opportunities. And then same with Clelin Ferrell, super high motor guy. He produces when he's on the field. He had that injury last year. 49ers really wanted to keep him. He said, hey, I'm going out to Washington. And then KJ Henry showed some flashes with the worst coaching staff in the NFL. So I really want to see what KJ Henry has. But there's also some positions where it's like, I don't know what the coaching staff thinks. Obviously we saw Cam leave, Kendall Fuller leave, Curtis Samuel leave. Like we saw a lot of the Ron guys shown the door because the new coaching staff was like, yeah, we don't, not even just like that, we don't want them. It's just like some didn't even get offers. It's like you are fine to go to free agency. And it's not that they're bad players. Like Cam Curl's not a bad player. Kendall Fuller's not a bad player. And obviously I don't think Curtis Samuel's a bad player. I would have been fine keeping all three of those. But I think the coaching staff just knows what they want to do, and they really want to build their team. So this is where you start to get to the meat of it all. So linebacker, Jamin Davis, obviously huge getting Bobby Wagner and massive getting Frankie Lavu. I think we're set at linebacker. Then you get Anthony Pittman, who's a depth guy, really good special teams guy from the Lions. They really wanted to keep him as well. Played a ton of games for them. Like I said, big-time special teams player. Maybe they draft one late because Bobby Wagner's like a one-year guy. Maybe you get someone in like the 5th or whatever to just, be a depth guy. Worst case, somebody gets hurt, he can come in, but also just learn behind Bobby Wagner. That's the best guy you can learn from in the NFL right now, besides like Fred Warner. Then you have the secondary, which is really head scratching, which is where I am still trying to figure out what does Quinn and Witt want to do here. Because you have St. Juste as your left corner, then you have Derek Forrest listed as strong safety, which I don't think is right. I think he would be more so the free safety. Between him, Butler, and Reeves, I think Derek Forrest would be the better of the free safety. He did it not last year, but the year before that, and played really good. Like, remember that Jags home opener? Played great. Jeremy Chin, in my opinion, is going to be starting at strong safety, but that's really fluid because I kind of said this in the Bobby Wagner video I did. Remember what Quinn did with Marquise Bell? Big dude at safety, moved him to like a linebacker role. And I don't want to start bringing up terms like box safety. I'm not going to use that nickel word or that buffalo because we get PTSD. I feel like it's like the little, what is it? AMSR like sound thing or whatever. That's what I feel like whispering. But we get this PTSD from Ron Rivera. But I think Jeremy Chin can play that strong safety role just fine. I like his coverage ability. I think he really homes in on that. But then he also has this big body to where he's a sure tackler. If he stays healthy, I think Jeremy Chin's going to be really good for us. And he showed today he's switching to number 11. I love it. It looks good on him. He's already got some jersey swaps going. But it's like, what is the coaching staff thinking, though? Is he going to start at strong safety? And I think they're going to do a lot of big dime packages, a lot of big nickel packages. We're going to see like maybe 2 linebackers on the field. Then you have an extra corner or you have an extra safety, like 3 safety sets. Maybe 3, maybe sometimes 4 corner sets, stuff like that. So I'm really interested to see what Dan Quinn and them are going to do. Still trying to figure that out. We're still waiting on some moves at corner to be made. Are they done at safety? I don't know. I would like a guy like Justin Simmons for sure as a lock as a free safety, and then have Jeremy Chin at strong safety. That'd be a great duo in my opinion. And then obviously Forbes, you need him to start playing to that first round talent that we were kind of waiting for. And I think the coaching staff absolutely helps with them. And then there's Quan Martin. He's the mystery guy too. So what does the coaching staff think of Quan Martin? Do they think he plays best as a slot or a nickel as our lads has him listed as? Do they think he can be the free safety guy? Are they going to just throw him out there a corner because he can do that too? Quan Martin is like the chess piece. You can kind of do, and he's like the queen. You can do a lot of moves with them. So like St. Juste, Forrest, Butler, Forbes, and Martin. What does the coaching staff think of those 5 guys? Do they want to replace some? Or are they going to move someone somewhere else where they think they can, position better? That is the big question mark that we're still trying to figure out. So let's load up this mock draft simulator and get right to it. Let me take a look at some chats real quick. Fresh Montana says Drake May upside is crazy and he can win from the pocket. Absolutely agree. King Cobra K says, how's everyone doing today with a little 4-leaf clover? Completely forgot it's St. Patrick's Day. I never actually do anything. I'm not really the going out type. But say happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody. Gucci Sushi, cool name, says get ready for JT Sanders in a second. We'll see. We'll definitely see. Will Xavier Leggett be available in the third? Oh, it's such a crazy wide receiver draft. We'll see if he's there for us. Brent says, Josh, what would you give a percentage of the Commanders getting JJ McCarthy at the number 2 spot? I don't see it. It sounds like, and I don't think it's smoke, but the league is super high on JJ McCarthy. But the fact that Washington has the number 2 pick, I just don't see it. Like maybe if, some chance they traded back to like 4 or 5 or whatever, I think then, yeah, they could get JJ McCarthy, but I just don't see that happening. Unless they just get some like crazy off the wall offer to trade back. And like Adam Peters, like can't say no. But in my opinion, I really think Washington's going to stay at 2, pick who they want, not just like hope, like, oh, I hope the quarterback we like is going to fall to us. You got lucky to get that number 2 pick. Caleb's going 100%, 1 bajillion percent. Like there's not a doubt in my mind. Like 1,000,000%. Caleb's going to Chicago. So pretty much right now, Washington is on the clock at 2. Don't trade back a spot or 2 and then lose the guy that you like. It just makes no sense to me. Like, oh, let's get some assets, but there's a chance we're not going to get the quarterback we like, and we're just going to roll with whoever. That's not how this works. Adam and them are absolutely going to be taking who they want. So let's take a look at it real quick. Let's zoom in so y'all can see a little bit more once I get this thing going. So I did 7 rounds. I did it right down the middle because I kind of want to see some picks that start happening. I know it's something y'all tell me through the live streams. Y'all want to see some picks that are happening. But then also, I'm going to stop it for a reason. I'll show you. Care for positional value. I do it not extremely high, but I don't want like some running back taken in like the first round. It's not going to happen. Running back probably not going to like 3rd round, realistically. Draft for needs and then randomness. I always do all the way down. So let's enter the draft. I don't know why I did that. Chicago's on the clock at 1. Boom, Caleb Williams, how it should be. So Washington is on the clock at 2. Like I said, let me zoom in just a little bit here. So in my opinion, obviously this is where the debate's going to be. Is it Drake May at 2 or is it Jaden Daniels at 2? PFF has Drake May as the 3rd overall prospect. And you got to go down here to 22 for Jaden Daniels. People are like, oh my gosh, is that true? Like, I don't know. I don't do the PFF rankings, but in my opinion, I think there is a chance that both could be there. Like as an option for 2. Like I'm not ruling any out. So I like Drake May a lot. And if you follow me on X, you know that right now I'm still leaning Drake May. But with that being said, I do like Jaden Daniels a lot. I do. Like, if it comes down to it, if we draft Jaden at 2, I'm not going to be like, oh, my God, here we go. Stuck in quarterback purgatory. Let me get on Facebook and all these groups like everybody. Like, no, that is not what I do at all. I like Jaden Daniels a lot. And if Cliff and Quinn and Adam Peters said, this is our guy, we like what he can do, we don't know the plans for the offense. We don't know the plans for the defense. We have an idea of what we're going to see, but we don't know. This is a completely different coaching staff. We don't know what this offense is going to look like. We don't know what changes Cliff Kingsbury is going to do from what he's done into the past. He hasn't been an offensive, play caller in a few years now. He could definitely throw some different things in there, kind of adjust to what offenses are doing right now, change a few things up. We don't know. Like, no one knows. But I will say, just going back, like I said, watching the tape for a while now, the thing that, and I have people all the time tell me, like, or ask me, why do you like Drake? What is it about Drake? And I'm going to go more in depth. And like I said, do some all 22 stuff. I'm going to do a Drake versus Daniels video. But when it comes down to it, there's just a couple things that I really like about Drake May. It's not that he's sneaky athletic. He is actually very athletic. Is he the, long track speed like Jaden Daniels when he's running the ball? No. But the fact that he can extend plays, get out of the pocket, make great throws on the run, that's what I like about Drake May a lot. Now, I think about the traits that transition to the next level. It's like the big-time throws. And I know Sam Howell had a ton of big-time throws at North Carolina. But obviously, with the thing that kills Sam Howell is his turnover rate. With Drake May, it's the complete opposite. He has a ton of big-time throws. He has more than anybody. But then he also has the lowest turnover-worthy play percentage out of every quarterback in the draft. So what kills rookie quarterbacks faster than anything? It's two things: sacks, which Sam Howell took a lot of, and it is turnovers. Whether it's fumbles, interceptions, whatever, Drake May had the lowest turnover-worthy play percentage of every quarterback in the draft. So, like, I'm not, once again, this is not some like agenda for Drake May. It's just my personal opinion, my personal preference. If someone says, hey, I want Jaden Daniels because of how athletic he is, because of the plays he does, because of his stats, because of he won the Heisman, that's great. I'm not knocking that at all. Once again, if we draft Jaden Daniels, I will buy a jersey. I will stand behind him. If we draft JJ McCarthy, I don't know. I'm probably not getting a jersey. I'm gonna root for the guy, but I'm like, ugh, Adam, you gotta talk me off a ledge. But if it's Drake May or Jaden Daniels, honestly, I'm super excited about it. But one more thing that I love about Drake May is, he is 6'4", he's 230, but he's 21 and a half years old. Like, he's not turning 22 until like the middle of preseason. So he still has a lot of his upside. Obviously, Jaden Daniels has a ton of experience, which is a huge thing for me when it comes to quarterbacks. If you know me, that's something I look at a lot. Something I talked about with Sam that I like that he had experience. Going back to like Justin Herbert, I really liked Justin Herbert because of the experience he had at Oregon and how well that translates to the next level. But the difference is the age. So you have the age of Jaden Daniels. Has he maxed out? Like, is there a next level to Jaden Daniels? I don't know. So what if he just doesn't transition well to the next level? What if he just doesn't transition well to the NFL and he doesn't have like that next level that he's tapping into? Like I said, Drake May is still super raw. He can still work on his footwork a little bit. There's minor things that he can absolutely work on. I'm not calling Drake May a perfect prospect. I'm not calling him a sure deal. This isn't some clickbait clip where I want you to like screen record it and send it out saying Drake May is the most sure prospect in the draft. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying long-term wise, I think Drake May has the better chance of being the better quarterback. I think he can make the throws in the big leagues. I think his ability to pick up first down with carries on third and fourth down, he did it more than anybody in the last 2 years by a lot. He had about 20 more first downs with his legs than Jaden Daniels did on third and fourth down. So extending the plays when something's not there, making something of it, breaking tackles, having those crazy throws where he's like halfway tackled and he finds somebody for a first down. And they had 44 on-target drops the last 2 years at North Carolina. That's a lot. 44 on-target drops, not like total drops. Those were on-target throws that were dropped. 44 of them. That's inexcusable, first off. Like that is like a malpractice to your quarterback if you're a wide receiver or tight end or even a running back. So once again, like I'm not knocking Jaden Daniels because there's things that Drake May can work on too. Sometimes he does trying to do something that's not there, not to the extent of like Sam Howell did. And I think that's the biggest thing with the two quarterbacks is one is the size. People are saying, oh, Drake May is big. Yeah, he's big. That's the one thing that he does different than Sam. But then the ability to not get sacked as much as Sam, and then the turnover worthy plays compared to Sam is like the complete opposite. Sam was a turnover machine. Once again, not saying Drake is going to be like this perfect prospect coming into the league. Maybe he's terrible his first year, but just in my opinion, I think there's this untapped potential that whether it's, passing game coordinator Johnson or Coach Blow, who's a, former quarterback himself, or Cliff Kingsbury, whoever's going to be working closest with whoever we draft at quarterback, I think there's so much more untapped potential in Drake May being that younger guy. And that could hurt you too, because you're like, man, if he would have played one more year in college, got that experience, I'd be even higher on him. But nonetheless, let me see what they say about bottom line here at PFF. I never actually read these. May's arm talent alone puts him in the first round and top 10 conversation, though his ball placement and decision-making, including sacks taken, need improvement. He has all the talent tools you want to bet on a franchise QB. So, like I said, he still had the most big-time throws, and he had the lowest turnover-worthy plays. But is he perfect? No, by no means. Now, let's take a look at Jaden Daniels real quick, because Jaden Daniels did play in the SEC, and I love that. I'm an SEC guy. I'm an Alabama fan. He tore up He tore up Alabama. I scrolled right past him. Absolutely tore us up. And like I said, I am a Jaden Daniels fan. It's just, will I take him at 2 when Drake May is there? I don't know. Let's take a look at it. Big time throw rate, 8.4%. That's still good. Adjusted completion percentage, 79.6. I know he has some deep yards. Yep, 1,347. Pressure sack conversion rate, 20.2. That's kind of high. Then he did have Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr., who were 2 top 15 picks at wide receiver. When, like I said, Drake May was, without Tez Walker for 6 games. I went to a bunch of guys I've never even heard of. And I'm a college football junkie. He didn't have De'Ami Brown back like Sam Howell did, or what was the other? Josh Downs, who had 100 catches in Sam Howell's last season, 4th ever wide receiver in ACC history to do that. He didn't have that. Drake May did not have these weapons. So there was times he tried to make something out of nothing because, once again, they had 44 on-target drops. Kind of had to at times. But nonetheless, when it comes down to it, I'm ecstatic for either of those two. Like I said, the only one you really have to talk me off a ledge of is J.J. McCarthy, which I think he's, possibly going in the top 5. Same with Bo Nix, Michael Penix. I do not want any of those guys. If it is not Drake May or Jaden Daniels, then I'll be upset. But just my honest opinion right now, I do see the Justin Herbert comparisons. I just remember going back watching Justin Herbert and then also seeing Drake May. I'm like, man, I do see the similarities. I see some Phillip Rivers in them. I see some Justin Herbert in them. I don't know. Honestly, it's hard to find a comparison for Jaden Daniels because it's so different. It's not Lamar. He's just his own person, which is great, but it's also could be a question mark because you don't know how much it's going to translate. So he could come in and be the special quarterback that just tears the league up. Now, I will say with Jaden Daniels, his legs and his ability to create big plays with his legs absolutely helps that transition to the NFL. Absolutely does. Because if something's not there and you don't like what you see, or you don't 100% know something yet, or you're just kind of second guessing something, worst case scenario, you can always use your legs. If it's 3rd and 10 and everyone's covered and you're I don't know, I don't really like what I see, you have that ability to pick up a first down. You have that ability to get a big play with your legs. So it's tough. It really is tough, but still, and I don't see it changing over the next month. There's nothing that's going to happen, in my opinion, that changes my mind. Once again, and this is the thing that bothers me on social media is you can like both guys. I promise you it's okay. You don't have to pick a side. There is not going to be some Drake May and Jaden Daniels war on, night 1 of the draft. I promise you, whoever we get, I'm fine with. But for my personal preference, I'm going with Drake May at 2. Like I said, that's just me. Y'all can draft whoever you want. Let's see some chats. Let's see how many people call me stupid. Shout out to Bradley. Drake is 6'4" and young. Sam couldn't see over the line either. You're not really wrong about that. Adam Peters got rid of Sam Howell for a reason. He doesn't want close friends on the same team as Drake May. And I don't think that has anything to do with it either. I think the thing that came down to it is you got Mariota as your QB2. There's no reason keeping Sam Howell here as your QB3. So you're doing right by Sam, but then also you saw the package you got out of it, which was better than what the Bears got for Justin Fields. They were doing right by him too. They probably could have gotten more from somebody else, but he wanted to go to the Steelers. But nonetheless, it was just a masterclass by Adam, getting some compensation for a quarterback that was, not going to be on the team anymore. There wasn't a reason not to. Keep him here as QB3. Plus Daniels has small hands. He will not pass well in cold weather, plus his tiny size. So I've kind of seen, I don't know what his hand size is, but I don't think Jaden Daniels' frame is nearly as bad as what people think it is. I really don't. But like I said, first off, no one knows what these quarterbacks are going to look like at the next level. People are like, oh, I was right, or oh, I was wrong. No one knows. That's the fun thing about the draft. That's the scary thing about the draft. You can't miss this pick, though. Pick 2 has to be a good one. You can't miss on this one. Good Drake May comp is somewhat Josh Allen. The thing I will compare with Josh Allen and Drake May is the learning curve or the tweak to the mechanics. So there's a couple things Josh Allen needed to work on a little bit when he got to the league, and it, took a little bit of time. But once he got it, Josh Allen's rolling. Yes, he throws a lot of interceptions, but still, Josh Allen's still a top quarterback in this league. Like I said, I think Drake May could work on a couple things. By year 2, I could see Drake May rolling. Could year 1 be not the prettiest? Maybe. But at the same time, I think people are going to expect, no matter who we draft, they're going to expect some kind of CJ Stroud-esque rookie season out of whoever we take at 2, which is funny because no prospect is the same. Not a single one. These are still people who have to do something on the field. It's not you draft a 2 and he's just going to work out, or you draft a 2 and he's going to be a bust kind of thing. It is still a person that has to go out on the field and do something. But for this sake, like I said, I am going Drake May at 2, but I'm also going to do something. We're going to pause right about here. So JJ McCarthy goes to the Vikings at 11. This is where I really want y'all's help. Because I'm going back and forth on it. I'm in a ton of group chats. Shout out to my boy Brandon. He was telling me today, and this is something I've been thinking for a while now. I think Washington is in a really good position to trade up in the first round from pick, let's just say 40. That's kind of what I've been rolling to. So I take a look at these teams of who would be a potential team that wants to trade back. And this is the sweet spot here. Let me zoom in just a little bit. You got the teams that need a quarterback with the Vikings. The Vikings can still move up. I don't think they're done yet. I think, they got that other first round pick. They are getting ammo to move up probably with the Patriots at 3 or whoever, 4 or 5 to get JJ McCarthy, whoever's left over, whatever. You've got the Vikings, the Broncos who need a quarterback as well. They haven't really done anything to help them out. They don't even really have a good quality backup anymore. And then obviously the Raiders, they have Gardner Minshew. So it's if we don't get an opportunity to get the quarterback we like, Gardner Minshew is going to be a bridge quarterback. They actually gave him a pretty hefty amount of money. So I could see Gardner Minshew being that bridge guy for a year, whatever. And the Raiders, if we can trade back, get a first for next year, get that ammo, and then next year we're getting our quarterback. Maybe they take someone in the second, if they trade back with us at 40, maybe they'll take a quarterback there like Michael Penix, whatever. And if it doesn't work out, they can cut their loss and then next year get their quarterback. So in my opinion, this is where I'm looking at the Raiders. I think the Raiders are a really good option to trade back right there at 13. So I'm doing 13. And what would that take going from 40 to 13? It's going to take a first next year, which, like I said, the Raiders would absolutely do this. And in the right situation, depending who's on the board, I think Washington should absolutely do this too because of how loaded the top 15 of this. There's elite talent in the top 15 of this draft class. So I'm offering that. They accepted because JJ McCarthy went off the board, and at this point, they're kind of yeah, we don't really know who our quarterback's going to be, but we are currently out of a position to actually, get our quarterback. So that's what I'm saying. I think Washington trades up into the first. You have the ammo. You've been loading up. You filled in some holes where it's you don't need all this picks that you have, and you're just going to be drafting the best players that can come on this team and just dominate year 1. Because this is such a great draft. Tommy T says Vikings want to trade up. I agree. Some say they're trying to get our 2 pick. I don't see that happening. But I could see the Patriots trading back if they're look, we're more than a quarterback away. Whoever comes here is going to die at quarterback, sadly, or 4 or 5, whatever it is. I could see the Vikings trading up for sure. For the people saying we should trade back is crazy. We have the opportunity to get a franchise guy and be patient with them. Absolutely. And if there's still people saying trade back from 2, you're crazy. No way. You don't give up the opportunity to choose your quarterback. It's funny. Adam Peters told Daniels last year if he went in the draft early, he'd be he didn't finish 5th round. There we go. And it is crazy because quarterbacks do pop out one year. Next year's quarterback class doesn't look that good, but I guarantee you someone's going to pop out like Jackson Dart, whoever is going to look really good. And then they'll be a top 5 pick. We are more than a QB away. Also, I don't agree to a certain extent. I think our roster is still like under construction. But compared to the Patriots, we're in a much better position. Like, I really like these moves. Like, I think this free agency period has been superb. I think it has a purpose. I think you really see what Adam was doing in the free agency. And like I said, we're not done yet. I think there's still some things that could happen. But in my opinion, I think the roster is built to succeed year one. Obviously, if things go well with quarterback. So, all right. So we just traded up. We got the 13th pick. Resume draft. Boop. Quinyon Mitchell goes to the Bucks, which kind of sucks because I was thinking corner too. All right, so this is where it's like, what would Washington do? Like, I know what I want to do. And in my position, I don't know why he's down here because he shouldn't be. But Olu Fashanu at 13 would absolutely be my move. The thing that tells me is like, look, if I'm fine trading next year's first if our franchise left tackle is there. How they have Troy Fautanu over Olu Fashanu blows my mind. First off, I love Troy Fautanu. Y'all know I'm a giant fan, but Olu Fashanu is a top 10 prospect in this draft. Just because he had hands that were a little bit smaller than people thought. I don't care. The tape doesn't lie. Olu Fashanu has been one of the most dominant left tackles, especially in pass protection, over the last 2 years, and it's not close. I still think Joe Alt's the number one offensive tackle, but I think Olu Fashanu is number two. But the way things play out with whether it's, team fits, but then also the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, I could absolutely see Fashanu being here at like 13. Because like I said, us with the quarterbacks, if the Patriots don't go quarterback, Jaden Daniels goes to either Giants, or he would go to the Vikings, whoever. I don't see the Falcons going tackle. I could see the Titans going Joe Alt for sure. Jets, I don't even know if they need a tackle anymore because they got Tyron Smith. Worst case, he'd be right tackle, but I think they've pretty much built their O-line there as well. So I really do see a path to Olu Fashanu being there at left tackle. But also, we need a corner. So you do have guys like Cooper DeJean here. You have Nate Wiggins, who has that elite speed. Terrion Arnold. That's pretty much it. Corner-wise at this position that we have. So I do want to trade up for left tackle. I've had some people say, hey, like, no, we need to take a corner. We need a corner in the top 15. Or maybe we even go like Brock Bowers. I've had people say go Brock Bowers. But in my opinion, if you're going to trade up, if you're going to trade a first for next year, if you're going to trade a second pick this year, get that left tackle of the future. Like, absolutely get that left tackle. And in my opinion, it's not Troy Fautanu. It is Olu Fashanu. Now, another name that I had my boy Brandon tell me about is Brian Thomas Jr. What if Washington traded up to get one of these dominant wide receivers in one of the best wide receiver draft classes ever? Now, Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be an absolute superstar. Like, if we had a left tackle, I would be like, dude, trade the first next year and trade your second this year to trade up and get Brian Thomas Jr. Absolutely. Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be a stud. I cannot wait to see what he does in the league. But at the same time, like, we need that left tackle. We can't have the shiny things and the fun toys until we get that line fixed. Tyron Smith is gone, like I said. So really the only thing you have out there is Trent Brown, Josh Jones. You have a couple free agent options. Maybe you take a left tackle at 36 now that, like, we still have that pick. But what if there's a run of, tackles at the end of the first and they're like, oh, shoot, we don't really have any options that we like. So just in my opinion, it would be really nice to have like an A.D. Mitchell or a Brian Thomas Jr. out there opposite of Terry. Because Terry, I hate to say it, guys, but he's getting up there. We kind of do need that wide receiver opposite him to like be next in line to get that torch in 2 years or 3 years, whatever it's going to be. To where Terry's like starting to decline. I think Terry's still at his, mountaintop right now. He's still Terry, but that 30 is like that magic number for wide receivers where you become old. Like, he came into the league already old. That was a knock on him. But for a 3rd round pick, Terry's been a damn good one. So, in my opinion, it's just like Nate Wiggins, elite speed. I would love him at corner. Same with Cooper DeJean. Some people have him as a safety. Some people say leave him at corner. I love my guy, Terrion Arnold. I think he's going to be great as well. But just give me Olu Fashanu at 13, y'all. Y'all disagree? Like, left tackle is massive. And if you have a chance to trade up to get Olu Fashanu because of how things fall, you do it. Like, heck, I would trade into the top 8 if I had to get Olu Fashanu. But in my opinion, like, I think there's a chance he could be there. Do it. Trade up. Trade that first next year. Get your left tackle. I don't care how small his hands are. Just watch the tapes. Olu Fashanu is a beast. Now you start seeing some guys falling off the board. Oh, Brian Thomas Jr. went to the Cowboys. That would be the worst case scenario. Like I said, he's going to be really good. All right, so the Patriots went Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3, and then they got Bo Nix in the 2nd. So all good for them, honestly. Probably a better route for them than going a quarterback at 3 and still having so many needs. That's where it gets really tricky as well. So you have Drake May at 2, and now we traded pick 40 and a first next year to trade up to get Olu Fashanu at 13, which is crazy to even think that that's a possibility. But I see a path to where Olu is there at 13. Like I said, with the run of quarterbacks, I could see 5 taken in the top, 11, 12 range, especially with the Vikings and Broncos kind of lurking as well. That helps out. Same with wide receivers. You have elite wide receivers going off the board in the top 7, top 8 of this draft. So now we have our quarterback. We have our left tackle. Let's build this team based off of what Adam has done in free agency, to where it's like, it's okay if we don't take an edge. It's okay if we don't take a linebacker. Now, safety might not be a need if they put Quan Martin at free safety and they have Jeremy Chin at strong safety, but Tyler Nubin at free safety makes me smile a lot because he's a beast. Let me see some chats real quick. Washington has weapons. I'm sure Adam Peters will draft a few more weapons for our rookie quarterback to be successful. Yeah, like I said, my opinion, it's just we need that second wide receiver big time. Ryan S says, can you address the Greg Newsome stuff? Yeah, I'll hit that real quick. So I'm doubling down. My guy said we for sure at least checked in on Greg Newsome. Nothing against like Ben. But in my opinion, like, what would they say? Like, yeah, we're actively trying to trade for Greg right now. Like, no, I wouldn't expect that. But like I said, this guy I talked to has nothing to do with Washington, straight Cleveland. Said we at least have checked in on Greg Newsome. The fact that he said there was no interest there. I'm doubling down on what I said. Absolutely not backing down from it. Like I said, I don't say things just to say things. The last time I actually came out and like said something was when I said the 49ers were reaching out for edge rusher at the trade deadline. And then it happened like the next day. So yeah, I'm doubling down on that. I would love to get Greg Newsome. I would absolutely trade a third for Greg Newsome. He's still really young. You would have to probably give him a new contract, probably extend him. Mike Williams is doing a visit to the Steelers this week. Shout out to Mike Williams. I'm not rolling Mike Williams out too. Like, if we were to get like a veteran outside wide receiver, maybe Mike Williams, maybe Josh Reynolds is out there. So like I said, there's still some free agency moves we could make to where it's like, okay, that kind of crosses out this. But pick 36 is where I'm struggling big time. Absolutely big time. So Mike Williams is going to the Panthers, Jets, and Steelers this week for visits. No mention of us, so we're good. Let's see real quick. Justin said, hey, Josh, I just wish Drake May and JD had JD's base in fundamentals. I feel like if he did, he would be like, Andrew Luck good. What do you think, though? Andrew Luck was like next level. Andrew Luck is like one of those like once in a generation type quarterbacks, man. It sucked that he had to, back out and retire when he did, because Andrew Luck was like damn good, man. He was the most sure like prospect at quarterback probably in like my lifetime, and I'm 30. Like, everyone knew Andrew Luck was about to be a beast. But like I said, yeah, Drake May does have some base things to work on, some mechanic fundamentals to work on, but he's still 21. Like I said, he has the upside and he has the time to get even better. So that's what excites me. The age, the ceiling. Jaden Daniels, safer floor, in my opinion. Like Jaden Daniels' floor is probably here, while Drake May's floor is like here. But ceiling for Drake May is like here, and Jaden might be like here. Like, what else can Jaden do? He's been in college for a while. We have seen him get better over the last few years, but like, is this it? Is he at his peak? I don't know. Nobody knows. We won't know him for like 2 or 3 years. And this is something we also can't just tell by one season of whoever comes here. Like, if Drake May comes here or Jaden Daniels, we can't just evaluate them after 1 year and be like, oh, that's it. And I know we did that with Sam, but it's just a whole situation with a completely new regime, a completely rebuild, and having the number 2 overall pick. Hopefully we're not in this position next year with the number 2 overall pick, regardless of who we take. But let's see, 36. I got some people saying AD Mitchell, Kingsley, Somatai, go best player available. So, like I said, Greg Newman, got Greg Newsom on mine. If Tyler Newman at free safety, big time ball hawk, like in my opinion, the best true free safety in this draft, superstar like potential, like Winfield Jr.-esque potential, absolutely love it. Mike Sanders still, and I don't know if I'm okay taking a nickel corner at 36. But Jordan Reed from ESPN absolutely loves this guy and raves of him all the time. He had like 6 interceptions this year. It was something crazy. Just a nasty physical guy. He's a smaller guy. Yeah, he had 6 interceptions. That's crazy. He's 5'10", 182, super small, but he's just so physical. He's just like one of those nasty guys. I love his game. But in my opinion, I don't see us getting him at 36. Now, Kamari Lassiter is the best corner available here, in my opinion, when it comes to outside corner. I could absolutely see Kamari Lassiter at 36. Absolutely. And I haven't done a ton of Lassiter tape because honestly, I wasn't really focused on corner in the draft until like this week. But just from guys like Jordan Reed from ESPN and guys that I think highly of that do, draft content and evaluation stuff, they're super high on Kamari, especially when it comes to man coverage, when it comes to press. I love his hips. I like the footwork, his ability to just get out quick, bail. I think Kamari Lassiter is a really good prospect. I could absolutely see him at 36 if we don't, sign anybody at the corner spot, with these next few guys, whether it's Gilmore or even like trade for Snead. I don't know. But if we go into the draft with no other changes at corner, then Kamari Lassiter is absolutely an option. But doing this recently, Troy Franklin is really high on my radar. Troy Franklin was a stud this past year at Oregon. And like I said, we need someone in that, wide receiver 2 spot outside of Terry to one, take the attention off of Terry. But someone that can stretch the field, someone that can just be a home run threat. And in my opinion, Troy Franklin fits that well. 17.1 yards per catch. He had almost 1,400 yards this year. 14 touchdowns with Bo Nix at quarterback. No offense, Bo. Roll Tide. He had 14 deep catches, which is tied for 8th in the country. He had 558 deep yards. And that's with Bo Nix. Like, his knock is his arm strength. So Troy Franklin, the thing that stands out to me is how open he gets. His drop rate was a little bit higher than I like, 10%. It's not hitting that red scale like guys. Try to think about a high drop rate. I can't think of any right now. I'm blanking. But contested catch rate, not too bad. But for his style, like, he's not a crazy, thick wide receiver either. But he's 6'3", he's probably gonna be like 190. I would like for him to be at like 195 in the NFL. But like muscle to where he's not losing that, track speed whatsoever. But the yards per route run, his grade versus man coverage, because he's so good on his release package. He's really good at getting separation at every single part of his stem, or his breaking point. Like I said, his release package is filthy. He just stacks DBs so well. I like Troy Franklin a lot. Like, he's a beast. Like, there's games where he just dominated and took over. So like, I am all in on Troy Franklin at 36 if he makes it that far. So for me, it comes down to maybe Newman, but am I okay taking a safety at 36? Kamari Lassiter at 36, Troy Franklin, Kingsley, maybe if you plan on playing him at right tackle. But in my opinion, I'm gonna go get some help for Drake May. I'm gonna do Troy Franklin. And like I said, we need somebody opposite of Terry that can, first off, help your rookie quarterback, but someone that can just take over and then be that next guy in line. I think Troy Franklin has upside to him to be like a wide receiver one in the league. I think if this draft wasn't crazy, especially with those, first 3-4 guys, I think there's a chance Troy Franklin could even go in the first, like for sure. I'm not ruling out anything. But like teams like the Chiefs have made some solid pickups. I think they still go wide receiver in the first round though. They'll probably go up to like an AD Mitchell type. So we have Drake May at 2, trade up to 13 to get Olu Fashanu. And then we picked Troy Franklin, so wide receiver. So we went really defensive heavy in free agency, and now we're kind of building the offense. And just honestly, in my opinion, like I'm taking best available as well. I'm not like, okay, what's our next need? What do we have to get? We have to get a tight end here. Not at all. Like I'm looking through what's available and seeing how we can build this team. So Christian Haynes, once again, I'm not ruling out a guy that could play left guard. Linebacker, not taking one here in the third. Like I said, I'm probably going to wait till later round to get someone that I like. Javon Baker and Tez Walker would have been an option at wide receiver if we waited till then. I could go Max Melton, maybe Gabe Murphy. But what I usually do, just going through this the last few days, is right tackle. That's Blake Fisher. This is a guy who really rose up the boards. I remember him being in like the high, like almost 200, just like 190 something for a while. I think he has a high upside to him. What they're going to do at right tackle, I don't know. Like, will they really start Andrew Wiley next year at right tackle? I hope not. But I at least want somebody ready to go just in case. I think Blake Fisher could be one of those plug and play guys. Like I said, he tested well. Everything's looked good for him so far. He's quickly, jumped up the rankings of every website, honestly. He's a guy I've been keeping an eye on, but I used to get this guy in like the middle or late 5th round, and now I'm like, if I don't take him here, he might not be there at 78. Let's see. Caleb said, "Hey Josh, do you think Jay Daniels can be the best athlete every Sunday in the NFL?" I mean, I don't think he's going to be better than Lamar and Pat Mahomes by any means. No. That's asking a lot. Like I said, he's going to have to hit like in a bigger tier. Like playing really well in college is one thing. Playing really well in NFL, it's just a whole different league. Do I think he would be the best athlete every Sunday in the NFL? Might be one day. Who knows? But that's way steep. Yeah, I'm not putting him over Lamar and Patrick Mahomes at all. No, that's really hard to say. How much more experience does the other top picks have? Referring to experience, I don't think much. Like for quarterback, I guess Drake May technically had like 2.5 years or whatever. And then Jay Daniels just been playing forever. Like obviously he was at Arizona State, transferred to LSU. He's got a ton of experience. Caleb's got like perfect amount of experience and he's young. Like he's not old yet. But he has enough experience. You're like, yeah, this guy, went through a lot in college. He's seen it all, seen all the defenses, situational football. He's been through all that, whatever. Like I think Caleb, in my opinion, is like the clear one by a lot. Like Caleb has so much things I like about him. Like I don't even want to talk about him because I know we're not going to get him, and I'm not going to get my hopes up. Like the perfect scenario would have been Drake May getting like one more year because, like I said, he would have been 22. And he would have, been a 3 full year starter, and he would have been fine. You can get TJ Tampa later. So I do like TJ Tampa. I think he's he's a tricky one because he's one of those tools as well. I think he's a middle second guy. I wouldn't rule take him in a second either. If you plan on starting him at corner out there, like kind of like Kamari last year is just like that true corner a little bit more at corner. And then I would get Kingsley Sumatai from the left tackle from BYU, I think. So he can play left tackle and right tackle really well. So like I wouldn't be mad at that either if you would have picked him with our second round pick. Like not at all. But for this one, like I said, I'm just getting right tackle. We got Drake May, we got Olu, we got our wide receiver, Troy Franklin. So let's go right tackle Blake Fisher here because I don't think he would make it to 78. We see some linemen getting taken off, both sides of the trenches taken. Spencer Rattler goes to the Broncos. Shout out to Spencer. This is where it gets tricky. This is where you can start to play around with things. And I think we do need 2 wide receivers, but I'm not really going to double up on wide receiver right now. I don't know. So we took Blake. This one I'm looking. I'm not going running back. I like Max Milton a lot. Cam Kinchens is another guy. I love Cam Kinchens. Y'all know Cam is one of my top 5 draft crushes. I'm a giant Cam Kinchens fan. I could see him being a free safety and Jeremy Chin being a strong safety. There is many mock drafts I've done this morning where I take Cam Kinchens every time. It's so hard to not take him. Then you got like Renardo Green, corner. This is tricky because there's a guy I also really like who's going to be there at 100. It's my other draft crush. All right, so I'm down to Max Melton and Cam Kinchens. I'm not taking Trotter as much as I like him. And, Gabe Murphy. If people think we need an edge rusher, what do y'all think? Who y'all taking here at 78? Let me scroll down. Let's see. I would 100% take Newman or Corley there. I love Malachi Corley. He would be really good. Trotter to develop. It's just like he wouldn't be like. I mean, unless he takes Jamin's spot, which he definitely could, in my opinion. I'm just not okay taking a linebacker here in the 3rd. I just I don't see it. We got Renardo Green. We got Kinchens. Max. Oh man, y'all making this tough. All right. I'm gonna trust my heart because I'm such a big fan of this guy. Like, in my opinion, this guy, I don't know what the coaching staff thinks of Forrest, of Percy, and I don't know what they want to do with Quan. So don't kill me. But I'm going Cam Kinchens. I love Cam Kinchens so much. Please put him at free safety. Let Jeremy Chin be a strong safety. And, I mean, Quinn and Peters hated all of our other guys on the roster, so maybe they hate our secondary that we got as well. And then this is where also sometimes I get DTD if I go corner where I got Cam. All right, so let's take a little quick recap for those that joined late real quick. So I took Drake May at 2, traded with the Raiders because they were not in a position to get a quarterback that they wanted. They all went, so they said, hey, we're trading back. I gave them a first next year, and I gave them pick 40, which is fine with me getting our left tackle of the future. I think realistically, the Raiders are a great, realistic trade back spot in the draft. And then Troy Franklin. I think he would be wide receiver too. Once again, it's not a knock on Jahan. I love Jahan. I think he's a big year, but I think he goes to the slot, and we're not about to start De'Ami Brown. So I'm going Troy Franklin at 36. If he's there, I'd be ecstatic. So we get a great wide receiver of the future. Then we go at 67. We got Blake Fisher, who right tackle for Notre Dame. Like I said, I'm really high on him. I don't know what their plan is yet. Worst case, if they do end up saying like, hey, we got to go with Wiley for 1 year, Blake Fisher's like, let me help y'all out with that. Please start him over Wiley. I think Cam Kinchens, he doesn't have the speed that a lot of people love at free safety, but he's so reactive. He has such great instinct. The guy makes big time plays. He hits hard. He has, a lot of interceptions. He's one of those vocal leaders on the defense. Like Cam Kinchens, in my opinion, really fits what I love in a free safety in the NFL right now. And I could see him just thriving under Dan Quinn. Like I said, I don't know what they feel about Percy Butler, and I don't know what they feel about Derek Forrest. Forrest was hurt last year. That's just too much of a question mark for me. We gave up way too many explosive plays last year. Way too many. And I know that obviously the coaching staff didn't help, but I need a true free safety, guys. I'm sick of seeing it. Gus Bus says, you think Troy Franklin is a possible wide receiver one, seeing that Terry will be over 30 when his contract expires. So that's another thing too. Like I said, guys, I hate to say it, but Terry's getting old. That 30 is like a magic number. That's when you start becoming officially old in the NFL. I think a guy like Troy Franklin has the upside of a wide receiver one post Terry. I think right now in this offense, he would be a dominant wide receiver two opposite of Terry. And I think that's a great pairing because Troy Franklin can beat you, in the short and then intermediate throws, but then he's going to speed you. I mean, that 6'3" frame going down the field. He stacks DBs extremely quick. And he makes these home run plays. I would love it. I think his big playability is matched up with Drake May's throwing. His arm strength, his big playability, his ball placement on the deep passes would be a great pairing. And then when things, life past Terry, we're not going to talk about it and get emotional, but life past Terry, I think Troy Franklin would be a guy like around that time. You're like, boom, he's getting a contract now. Like Troy Franklin is kind of taking over as that wide receiver one. Then you do it all over again. You might as well trade down if you want May and take Joe Milton. Absolutely not. Joe Milton is one of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen in my life. Shout out to my guy Rio. Exactly. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you are new here as well. So we took Cam right here at 78. And then we're on the clock at 100. So where are we going here? This is where I'm really looking at another guy I like a lot. And when it comes to corner, there's DJ James, Chris Abrams-Drain, who in my opinion would be a nickel corner. Jarvis Brownlee Jr. tore it up at the Senior Bowl. And then my guy Cam Hart. Y'all know I love Cam Hart. He's one of my favorites. He has a couple little injuries that kind of concern me, but outside of that, phenomenal in man coverage. Love his frame, love his length. Pause. 6'2", 207. This guy is. I'm such a big Cam Hart fan, and I didn't really know much about him until I saw him at the Senior Bowl, and the guy was dominating reps. And I was like, let me go back and watch this guy because everyone's talking about Benjamin Morrison at Notre Dame, how he's going to be a top 10 pick. I'm like, let me look at this Cam Hart guy. Cam is a baller, and just remember this as well. Dan Quinn loves to do a lot with not a lot at corner. When Diggs went down, he made things work. Dron Bland turned into like an all-pro, had all these pick sixes. Then obviously like Gilmore, he had kind of like a down year, and then he has a great year on the Cowboys last year. Like Dan Quinn and Coach Witt are really good at just making things like work. So if they don't land, Newsome, if they don't land Sneader, there's some big swing at corner, they don't draft one early, don't be surprised if they get one in like the third or fourth and he's like an absolute baller his first year, because that's what they do. They take these secondary guys you've never heard of, and then you're like, okay, who is this guy breaking this pick six record out of nowhere? Like a late round guy, Deron Bland. I think he went to where? Fresno State. So don't be surprised. Like if we don't take one early, but I'm going Cam Hart. Like I said, I love Cam Hart. I would take him over Jarvis Brownlee. I would take him over Chris Abrams-Drain. And I do like DJ James, but I like Cam Hart a lot. So y'all can't talk me out of it. I'm going Cam Hart there at 100, and I think that's a great value for him too. I think his upside is tremendous. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing a breakdown video on Cam because I really want him here. So I have 5 draft crushes. I've taken 2 so far. I got Cam Kinchins and Cam. Obviously, Olu, Drake May, they don't count because they're just, first round talent. And I'm going to take my 3rd draft crush here. Like I said, Zach Ertz is a great tight end. Do I expect him to be like some production monster? Absolutely not. There's not even much reason to go through these prospects here and debate it Kalen King is enticing. Roger Rosengarten at right tackle, if I didn't go Blake Fisher, is a big time option. I think he's got some upside to him as well. Theo Johnson at tight end, but I'm going Ben Sinnott. Y'all know I'm a Ben Sinnott stan. That's my guy. Love Ben. Had good talks with him at the Senior Bowl. I told him, like, we need to get him here. He just screams like an Adam Peters type of player that he finds in the 5th round, like he did with Kittle, like he did with Greenlaw, and just absolutely thrives. Ben Sinnott has tight end 1 potential, in my opinion. So let him come here. Zach Ertz is going to be his mentor. He has that going for him. I think he could produce big time. He's a great blocker. He's a phenomenal blocker. He's going to play in line. He's going to line up in the Y. He's going to kill you with some crazy catches. He can run routes. Like, Ben can do it all. He can play fullback if you want him to. He can do everything. He won the Fullback of the Year award, and he wasn't even a fullback. But shout out to Ben. I'm taking him at 139 here in the 5th. We have a tight end of our future, and it takes a lot for a tight end to like take off in their first year too. So I like that we do have Zach Ertz here. Like, once again, am I expecting a ton out of Zach Ertz like right away? No. But give me Ben Sinnott all day long. So let's see what we got here. This is where I just start taking best players available. I mean, I've been doing that the whole draft. But also it's like we do need a tight end. I think Ben Sinnott fits, especially in the 5th round. But we have another 5th that we got from the Sam Howell trade. So I could see Michael Barrett. Like I said, I could see us getting another depth linebacker because we don't really have much depth besides like Pittman. But a guy that can, get more playing time next year, post Bobby Wagner. I don't really see him playing over a year. Maybe he does 2. I don't know. JD Bertrand's an option. Zach Zinner at left guard, possibly. Maybe this is where we go with, like I said, we need some wide receiver depth. I don't know what they like about our wide receivers. Isaiah Williams out of Illinois. This guy I started looking at a little bit. 5'10", 180, not the biggest guy. Not too sure. Javon Foster, I like him at left tackle as well, but we've got Olu. Man, I'm kind of leaning towards Michael Barrett. Zach Zinter. James Williams could be one of those linebacker guys. We have too many of like those linebacker safety guys. We don't need any more. Zoe Life No Life, member of the channel. Shout out to Zoe Life No Life. Join membership, only $2.99 a month. Said I want Chop Robinson so bad. I would love Chop. Chop's my guy. Super high motor. I would love him in the 2nd. It's just like I don't know if they're wanting to take an edge anymore like that high because of all the moves they've made. Like, I don't know. It's tricky. Don't make it hard. Better play available. It gets tough in these 5th rounds though. Minus the injury, Zinner is the best guard coming out. Dude, he's so good. And honestly, I agree with you. Same with Trevor Keegan. I like Keegan a lot. I'm gonna go Zach Zinner. Talked me into it. I didn't really need a lot of help, but you kind of pushed me. Like I said, I don't know left guard if it's just set in stone yet, but I want some options. I want some depth. I want some bodies, some dudes. He's not the most like mobile guy at left guard, but he's a stone wall. I like him a lot. So let's see. I got Drake May at 2. We got one more pick, and then we'll take a look at everything and talk through it real quick. But our last pick is at 222. We see some players flying off the board here. Might go wide receiver. I don't know. Maybe I'll get linebacker here. I'm probably either gonna go linebacker or wide receiver. We'll see who's there. Just how the board falls. Oh, Jalen Green. Man, I like Jalen Green if you didn't get hurt. Production stud. Shout out to JMU. So I got a left tackle, got a right tackle. I like Curtis Jacobs. I do. You know what? I'm going to go Curtis Jacobs. 1, because he said he really wanted to play here. And 2, like I said, we do need some linebacker depth, and I like Curtis Jacobs' coverage ability. If he learns from Bobby Wagner, give him some more playing time next year. I think he does have some things to work on. Y'all know I like Penn State as well. Got to cover them. Honestly, I think he's the best one available. I like Trey Taylor at safety a lot as well. Tanner Bortolini, but we got Stromberg as depth, so I'm gonna go Curtis Jacobs. Let's get that depth and linebacker filled out. Like I said, really all we have is Pittman as like linebacker 4, and like that's pretty much it. You got Bobby Wagner, you got Lavu now, Jamin Davis, and then Pittman. That's pretty much 4. I think we need one more. Put Curtis Jacobs on special teams as well. Get him going. But let's take a look at our overall draft and see how we did. People are going to hate it, but I absolutely love it. All right, so we got Drake May at 2. And like I said, the Raiders are a great trade up candidate going from the second round, just because they're out of position to get one of their quarterbacks that they like. So I gave them a first next year in pick 40 to get Olu Fashanu. I'm telling you, I think that is a real possibility, trading up into the top 15. Absolutely think so. And then I got Troy Franklin. They gave it a C+, which I extremely disagree with. Like I said, people have him going late first in some mocks. Like the Chiefs would love a guy like Troy Franklin. I think C+ is ridiculous. I'd give it A- or B+. Absolutely love Troy Franklin. Guy opposite of Terry that can stretch a field, home run playmaker, stacks anybody. You don't really want to press him because he's going to just run right past you. I love Troy Franklin. Big time option there at 36. And then Blake Fisher, right tackle at 67. Haven't really made any moves to address either side of tackle. Blake Fisher kind of helps out with that. I think he's a guy that could start. Would he start over Wiley? Maybe not right away. He should, though, because Wiley is not good. But I think he has some upside to him that I like a lot. Cam Kinchins, honestly, I just love the guy as a player. I think he's at 78, crazy value, by the way. But that true free safety, Jeremy Chin at strong safety, I like it a lot. Cam Kinchins gets turnovers. He makes big time plays. He doesn't give up big plays. Something we've been missing heavily. And just having another Miami safety out there like Sean Taylor, man. I'm not going to compare him to Sean Taylor. But playing style wise, Cam Kinchins, I was like, bro, you're a dog. He's like, I know. He's like, I know I'm a dog. Like he absolutely owns up to it. He was one of my favorite guys to talk to at the Senior Bowl as well because he was just super confident in what he did. Just a big time playmaker. And then Cam Hart at corner, they have it listed as a C. I hate that as well. Like I said, I'm a giant Cam Hart fan. I think he could start at corner day one. I think he has all the tools and traits to do so. And like I said, Dan Quinn, Coach Witt, they've, made a lot of things happen with not much to work with. In the secondary at Dallas, especially when Diggs went down, they made it work. I think give him a guy like Cam Hart, I think he could start day one. Do I think they're done in free agency? Maybe not. I think they're still definitely going to sign some. But is it going to be like a home run, like a Snead or something like that? Maybe they go Gilmore for a year. Who knows? But if not, give me Cam Hart in the third. Ben Sinnott, he's not a fullback. He is a tight end that can play fullback. There's a huge difference. It's not like he's just like mediocre at tight end. He's a really good fullback. Ben Sinnott is a really good tight end. And I asked him why he picked 34. I was like, dude, like, why do you pick 34? He's like, because teams don't expect me to be good. He's like, why not? He was like, I had a few options, and 34 was like the ugliest, and that's what I wanted. But I'm telling you guys, the first time I saw Ben Sinnott was against my Alabama team in the bowl game. Not this past year, but the year before that. We had all of our starters on defense playing, and Ben Sinnott was making plays. He was making crazy catches. He tore us up. I was like, dude, you surprised the heck out of me. I was like, who is this guy? He's been on my radar ever since. He had a great year last year, one of his best receiving years in college, and he is not afraid to block. So you're fixing your ends of your line with left tackle and right tackle with Olu and Blake Fisher, but then Ben Sinnott at tight ends, one of the best blocking tight ends we've had in Washington in a long time. Phenomenal blocker. He's the best blocking tight end in the entire nation last year. And then Zach Zinner, big time upside at left guard. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure what they're going to do there. It sounds like they have the spot filled, but I'm not 100% confident in that yet. But I think Zach Zinner's big time upside to him. Big body guy, super strong. He's like one of these stone walls. Like I said, he's not gonna get up to that second level, you know, as quickly as you might want your guard to. But when it comes to just the dirty blocking, Zach Zinner is really good. And then Curtis Jacobs, I think, has a lot of upside to him. Like I said, covered Penn State for 2 years. Got to watch Curtis Jacobs a lot. He said he would love to come play in Washington, come back home. He's from Maryland. I forgot what part of Maryland he's from. But being able to be a depth guy, play some special teams. You're getting him in the 7th round for crying out loud. And he's getting to learn from Bobby Wagner for a year before Bobby retires and does his thing. Shout out to Bobby. He's going to Howard. He said he's taking some classes, so Bobby is going to be around the area a good bit. But I'm super excited. I like this draft a lot. Some people don't like it, but honestly, when it comes down to it, I think we're drafting best players available that could fit spots that are in need as well. But I'm not just going through like, okay, what do I have to get next? But then also we have this ammo from all the trades we've done ever since the Montez and Chase Young trades, and then ever since like the Sam Howell trades. We have gotten so many assets to where we can trade up. Heck, I'm down to trade up twice if it comes down to it, going to 13 and then maybe trading 36 to getting one of the first picks in the 2nd round or a late first again. Like, I'm fine with trading up. We have so much capital to do whatever we want in the draft. That's phenomenal. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why you trade Sam Howell, because you're getting these extra picks. We got pick 78 and 152. So for Sam Howell, we moved up. I know we didn't gain these 2 picks, but we traded our 2 picks to move up to be able to get Cam Kinchins and to be able to get Zach Zinner, who could possibly be a starting left guard of the future. That's fine with me. I think Cam Kinchins starts at free safety day 1. If you put him on the roster, I think he's better than Forrest. I think he's better than Percy Butler. Now, like I said, there's still some question marks with the roster of what they're going to do. Is Quan going to be that free safety guy? Is he going to be the nickel back? There's still things we have to figure out. And like I said, there's a couple other moves to be made. My luck, they're going to sign Stephon Gilmore tonight or something, or Justin Simmons. I would love Justin Simmons. I'm not rolling that out. Said it last night. Bring my boy back home. I would love that. And if that's the case, then maybe at 78, you do something different. Maybe you get your corner then. Maybe you double down on wide receiver, because like I said, De'Ami Brown, I don't know what our coaching staff thinks of the depth of our wide receivers. I don't see it. So Legendary One says Cam is so slow, though. Cam is slow by free safety measurements, but he is so instinctive, and he's so reactive, and his IQ is so high. He is never out of position on plays. And he doesn't give up big plays often either, ever. That's what I really like about him. He knows how to read plays and react so quickly. So his 40 time might not be the best. His, combine speed might not be there, but his playing speed, which is your mental aspect, also physical as well, but his play speed is really high, which is completely different. And in my opinion, playing speed is way more important than how fast you're going to run in a line all day long. Michael said, facts. I don't believe they're drafting for developmental guys. They want best players that's ready to play day 1 or best depth. And honestly, like I said, I think, obviously Olu's starting day 1. Troy Franklin, he would start. I think Blake Fisher could absolutely give Wiley a run for right tackle. I think his upside's tremendous. Cam Kinchins would start at free safety for me. Cam Hart would absolutely start at corner, in my opinion. I don't know how they feel about St. Juice. I don't know. Ben Sinnott, Ertz is going to be your starter, but Ben Sinnott would play a lot because Cliff does a lot of 2 tight end sets as well. Like I said, we kind of have to see what he plans on doing in offense. Zach Zinner probably won't start at left guard right away, but he's a depth guy and a developmental guy, and then same with Curtis Jacobs. So honestly, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys who would either start or play a ton. And that's what I look for in the draft. Guys that can come in year 1, make a big time impact. Demille says, Ben Sinnott is tough. He reminds me of Cooley. He does remind me of Chris Cooley. I will say that. I see some Chris Cooley in Ben Sinnott's game. You do not want to have to tackle him. You don't want to see him at the line, especially if you're a linebacker and he's blocking you. Good luck to you. Thoughts on safety, Kalen Bullock. I like Kalen Bullock as a free safety as well. He's not as physical. Like he misses some tackles. So I want to see him get a little bit better than that, a little bit more physical, put a little bit more weight on. But he's fast. He's a good free safety as well. But in my opinion, I like Cam better. But the safety class is really good. It's extremely good. So appreciate y'all for stopping through. We went for an hour and 15 minutes. Good talk, good conversations. Like I said, not everybody agrees with these picks, and that's fine. I would love to see some other mock drafts. I got people that DM me mock drafts and stuff all the time, or mention me on X all the time. So do your mock draft. Let me see what you do differently. Are you taking Drake? Are you taking Jaden Daniels? Like I said, I'm happy with both, but I personally am going with Drake May. Say what you want. That's just my pick. Like I said, hit that subscribe button, hit like if you enjoyed seeing, drop some comments below on your thoughts, what you would change, what you would do differently, or picks that you agree with. Maybe I pick some guys you like, but regardless, like I said, I appreciate y'all stopping by, and I'll see y'all next time here on JTFB channel. Peace.